Hello. I'm going to take a few minutes before I take off for the weekend. Just finished up. I only had 2 dogs in today because I had to take Mom back to Sault Ste. Marie, and that's this weekend. So I only did a couple of dogs, and then I'm gonna head out. So I was looking at the responses on that conversation from last week about the new trend in puppies. And Sandy was one person that responded, and she says, I think there's a lot of inbreeding out there, and therefore a lot of aggressive puppies. We don't see a lot in my shop, a lot of purebred dogs. People that are my clients tend to purchase dogs from rescues, or I think a lot of people get dogs from Kijiji, and some people had a lot of great luck with that, and then others not so much. I know that line breeding is a really hot topic in the dog breeding communities, and outside of the communities too, but and I've been so long in not paying attention to what goes on in the dog breeding world, I'm kind of out of touch. But I know it's a very controversial issue with a lot of different people that commit and dedicate their lives to their breed of choice. So I'm not so sure that puppies that are aggressive, I don't think that that's, it might be a little bit of it, but I think it goes deeper than that. And Joanne, in her comment next, I think she hit on a few different points. And she says, you're bang on, Terrie. People don't get it, that dogs are animals, not human babies. I'm horrible for treating my poodles like babies too, but I never forget that they are animals first and always. Training requires forever training and leadership, which requires a lot of hard work. Dogs will always try to step up to the alpha role when you baby them. Maybe people are just overwhelmed by the chaos of life. Love your video. Nice work, by the way. Thank you, Joanne. Thank you. And you've really touched on a few things. I think one of the things there in the last comment you made there about how people are overwhelmed by the chaos of life, I think you really hit a chord on that. And that's how society seems to be rolling. And I don't think it matters whether you want to talk about kids or you want to talk about dogs. Even people's health. You know, we're so distracted with our cell phones and our computers and the chaos of life. And I think you've really hit it with that comment. You know, tomorrow I'll do it, the next day I'll do it, or I'll call and research dog trainers, or I'll follow this fellow on YouTube that I like his video or whatever, and then 2 weeks goes by and you don't even remember who that person was and why you were following them, but you signed up for the email list. I know I've done that many times, not on dog training issues, but on different topics in my life, the things that I want to learn about. When a month goes by, I'm like, who is this person that keeps sending me something in my inbox every day, right? It's just the way society is. It really encourages us to be distracted and not so much to just be at home with our families and connect with our families and our children and our pets. I think you really hit a chord there. And there was another comment that you made that I thought was, training requires forever training and leadership, which requires a lot of hard work. You know what? Oh, I forgot to turn off my phone thingy so that nobody could hear text messages. That's my son texting me. Sorry. It does. And we see a lot of people who will come in and their dog is 3 or 4 years old. And the dog's like walking up the driveway on its hind legs, and it's all crazy. And people will often throw the leash at us and say, oh, we went to puppy classes, but you'd never know it. Yeah, because the puppy classes don't end. Like, you go to your 6 or 8 weeks of puppy classes, and then you go into the next level, and then the next level, and the next level. And even if you don't enroll in further training classes, obedience is all day, every day, always. And I think that people forget that. And I had this conversation yesterday with a new puppy owner that was in. She came in with a really cute little Maltese cross. Oh my gosh, it was sweet. She'd never owned a dog before, and when she made her appointment, I asked her, if you'd like to stay, because she was having a lot of questions that I felt that she would benefit tremendously if she stayed while we groomed the dog. And so she was a bit taken aback by that and shocked that we would allow that. And I don't mind dog owners staying. Sometimes it takes a bit of extra time and it's a bit of a challenge. And they do pay a little bit extra for it. But what they learn while they're here is priceless. And that's pretty much what she said yesterday. But where was I going? I lost myself. She was talking about having a 9-year-old and a 5-year-old, and how difficult it was to watch the kids, teach the kids, and teach the dog, and be on it. So there goes the chaos, the forever chaos of life piece of it. Then she's got the kids that if she's not on her game, and if she doesn't go to a trainer and learn how to work with the dog and work with the puppy, go to those puppy classes, she didn't even understand, and I'm not criticizing her, she just didn't know that if she doesn't establish that leadership role, the puppy will very easily and very quickly assume a leadership role over those kids. So, she was just describing the kids' behavior and interacting with the dog, and I said, speak to your trainer about this and work with your trainer. And I congratulated her and said, celebrate yourself that as a new dog owner and never having a dog before in your entire life, that you're doing the right thing. And then the conversation got into not 24 hours, because you're not awake 24 hours, but obedience is always a lifelong thing. And she was commenting on my dog and how good she is. And I said, well, her obedience never ends. Like, she knows that she sits before she jumps into the car to go somewhere. When I tell her it's okay, she can jump in. Same thing when it's exiting the vehicle. She's done it a million zillion times, but she knows that she waits for me to lead her and to tell her when it's okay for her to do these things. So she's always looking to me for the answer for everything in her life, and she relaxes to that because she knows I've always got it covered. Like, she's not responsible for making any decisions, because 100% of the time I always make them for her. So that is relaxing to her, and she's a confident dog because of that. So that's the other piece of the 24/7. Like, she knows she's not allowed in the kitchen, and if she goes in the kitchen, she's going to get nick. She's going to get something. Right? She's going to get a correction. And so she won't try it with me, but if you were to come in my kitchen, she might try to push you and let you think that it's okay for her to go in the kitchen, right? So it would be up to you to lead her through that, to stop her from doing that. So Joanne, that was a really awesome comment. And yeah, I treat my dog like a little baby too, but I do anything for my dog, but she's always under obedience. She knows at all times that she's loved and that she's cared for, and that's the thing, right? That's how they express love, and that's how they receive love, is by being led by someone that's confident in what's next. So when they meet challenges out on the street on their walks, whether it's another dog or a scary vehicle with a loud noise or whatever, they look to you to lead them through it, because they know that you're going to keep them safe, and I think my horse taught me that, the importance of leadership. Because my gosh, if you don't establish yourself as a leader when you're working with animals and you climb up on top of a 25 or a 1,200 pound horse that's afraid, you're going to learn real quickly. It's going to get really uncomfortable really fast on, how do I become a good human leader for the animals that I work with? I think another piece too that I thought of today when I was grooming dogs is what's my core issue and why do I think that this is so important? And it's not just because of what I'm seeing in my shop and I'm concerned about where people are going or not going with their puppies and not going to obedience where I feel that I wish they would. In consistent training classes is my parents were breeders of Irish setters, so I grew up in that world of breeding and showing and that kind of thing. And I had the last dog of the last litter that they ever bred. I got to have the pick of the litter, so I picked my dog, and he was my everything, and he was my world. And I was probably in the 4th or the 5th grade when that was going on. And I had 2 really horrible experiences with that dog. And it was because he saw me, he viewed me as a sibling. He didn't view me as a leader. He viewed my mom and my stepdad as a leader, but he didn't view me, even though he was my dog and I did everything with him. I walked him and I fed him and brushed him and I did everything. But what I would do, and I was always being corrected by my parents for this, I would get down on the floor with them and I would play, boom, 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 and roughhouse with them and wrestle with them, and I thought it was great fun. And they would always give me trouble for it. They'd say, stop. They used to call it ragging the dog. They'd say, stop ragging the dog, Terrie. Stop ragging the dog. And I'd get my face in his face, and I'd kiss his face, and he was giving signs that he didn't want me to do that, but I was too young. Yet, even though I was in the dog world, I still wasn't picking up on the signs and the cues from the dog. But anyway, the first incident happened when he had come in from outside and I was wiping his feet off, the mud and the wet, because we lived in the country. I was wiping off his feet and my cat walked by and he went after my cat. So I thought in my grade 5 wisdom that I was going to correct him from being nasty to my kitty. And well, it didn't quite work out that way. I decided to correct him and he turned around and he was correcting me and he bit me in the hand and I ended up with 6 stitches in my hand. I still have the scar on my hand. So that was the first lesson, in which I guess I didn't dial in very well, because the next time he was laying on the floor and he was chewing a bone. It was about a year later. And I don't know what the heck I was thinking, but I just slid off of the couch and went onto the floor, and he turned because he thought I was going to get his bone, is what it was. And he jumped on my face and he ripped my face open. And I still got the scar on my lip from it. And that was a horrible experience because that was the second bite. And my parents were like, well, the first bite is for free and the next bite you got to go. So they were going to euthanize my dog, when in actual fact it was my fault that these things had happened. So I begged and begged and begged, and they ended up taking myself and the dog. We went to Guelph University and we went to see an animal behaviorist. And so that's where all of this began, back when I was in the 5th grade, about observing and watching behavior and the hierarchy and how dogs tick, what makes them be who they are. So I think that's why I'm so sensitive to it, and why I'm always observing, and why I want to try and encourage people and help people. I mean, I'm so grateful for that lady yesterday that stayed that came with her puppy, and she stayed. She was just so thrilled that she walked away with so much, and that makes you feel, that just fills you up with such a good feeling. But anyway, I said in the original video about the trend in new puppies that I wanted to open up a dialogue, and there's been 2 comments on it, so I just wanted to take the time and sit here and share a few things. And thank you very much, everybody. Have a great and wonderful weekend, and I'm going to jump in the car and head to Sault Ste. Marie soon. Okay, thanks. See you later. Bye. Oh.